we need to look at discrimination from the point of view of unequal power relations. That means that people that are discriminated against many times do not have the means to fight back discrimination. And a word to National Leprosy Program, who are, of course, very interested in the discussion here, is that discrimination, in fact, is a social determinant of leprosy. It can be, easily identified in the fact that poor communities with household crowding are more vulnerable to leprosy. It can also be identified in the fact that physical and economic lack of access to healthcare services also has an impact in leprosy, but also, it also interferes in the outcomes of health policies and public health strategies. And many times we hear persons affected by leprosy saying that they do not feel cured, even though they are cured, because in the meantime they have developed physical impairments. And that many times has to do not only with biological issues, but also with social, economic, and cultural issues. But we also need to realize that many persons affected by leprosy and their families continue to experience, many times in a silenced manner, stigmatization at the community level, but also interpersonal violence within the family. Especially women continue to experience psychological, physical, and sexual violence. Children suffer from discrimination at school, which reduces their chances, their opportunities for having access to, improvement of their life conditions, etc., etc. I would say that if the people's organizations are translators by excellence, because they are many times able to deliver to the communities basic health information, and support the process through which people engage with health services, I would say that health providers also need to learn more from the people's organizations, and that translation needs to be mutual. I think that we need to look into how national leprosy programs and other stakeholders engage with people's organizations in order to ensure that there is no double standard in the implementation of this strategy, meaning the fact that when it is applied to developing countries, the existing conditions of deprivation and social inequalities cannot lessen the importance of ensuring the voluntary nature of informed consent. So I would say that the conditions sine qua non for avoiding any double standard are ensuring the right to access to information, informed consent, and true and meaningful participation in decision-making and designing of strategies from the people's organizations. Informed consent must respect personal autonomy. And as Dr. Kurman very well explained, it needs to be made very clear to people that SDR-PEP is not a vaccine, because this can be easily misunderstood. It needs to ensure completeness of information. It requires disclosure, not only of the associated benefits, but also to the risks and alternatives to that specific medical procedure. So importantly to mention the risks, and I will not dwell on this, but you all know the risks of PEP and limitations, as Dr. Kurman was mentioning, and this should be made absolutely clear to people in order for them to make an autonomous decision. As Special Rapporteur, I would like just to call attention to two final points. Any strategy of this kind cannot get into the trap of what João Biel, an anthropology, called the pharmaceuticalization of public health. We cannot rely on magic bullets. So, in order for PEP to be to reach the results it is expected to, we need to continue to put a great deal of effort in other strategies, as Dr. Kurman mentioned, but also in universal access to healthcare, high quality medical care, and socio-economic empowerment. We also need to ensure the full and informed participation of people's organizations in bottom-up designing of public health interventions and public health policy making. Thank you very much.